At this point, we want to say to you, we appreciate you. We're so thankful that you wanted to do this. And we're going to let you go.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart.
All righty? James Bonato.
Great, thank you. Thank you. Goodness gracious, thank you for all that applause. That is absolutely wonderful. You know, usually when I speak in front of a group, I hear booing. And this is a refreshing change, so thank you. Okay? All right. So I am here to talk about something called covert narcissism. Okay? Here in this room, who knows about that term? Has anybody heard that term before? Okay, so a couple people raised their hands. The term narcissism by itself, a lot of us have heard of that. That is a person who is very self-centered or feels that the whole world revolves around them. A covert narcissist is a little bit different. You know, covert, meaning like under the radar, okay? So a covert narcissist is a lot harder to see. They are very tricky people, and quite frankly, they are very destructive people. So destructive that if I had a covert narcissist in my life, I would do everything that I could to walk away from them. Okay. Well, thank you. That ends the presentation. Thank you for coming. Drive safe. I'm kidding again. You got to watch out for me. I'm pulling your leg. Okay. But let me get serious here for just a minute. Okay. I want to define covert narcissism, but I don't want to use a dictionary definition. I don't want to use a little bullet point with characteristics. I would like to do instead a short one-man play starring myself. So get out the popcorn or Rotten Tomatoes to throw at me if my acting is bad. I don't know. I'll do my best because I'm going to play the role of two different people. Okay? And I will bet you all that I am worth, the whole $100, and this $75 suit I'm wearing is part of that $100 worth. But I will bet you that you will see the covert narcissist in this play, and you're going to recognize them as somebody in your life. You may not have identified them as a covert narcissist before today, but when you leave this building, you're going to know what a covert narcissist is. And if I do my job right, I will arm you with tools on how to identify and deal with your covert narcissist. Now, I am not a therapist. I am a filmmaker, okay? Dr. Sandra Rhode, wherever she ran off to, she is the therapist, all right? She's the therapist, okay? So, if you are a victim of covert narcissism, I cannot cure you. But what I can do is show you the path that I took to get down that road of recovery. It took me over a year to go from victim to survivor. It was a very long road. I did not sprint down that path. It is a marathon race. I don't want you to go through what I went through, all right? So that's my mission here today, okay? So let's identify the two people in this play. The first one, the innocent person who will be representing you, we're going to call this person Roxanne, all right? So you all are Roxanne, okay? The covert narcissist in this play, we're going to call this person Brandy, all right? So Roxanne and Brandy are going to have this huge fight in this play that you're going to see. And you're going to look at this fight and go, you know, this is not a normal fight that I see between two friends, okay? So we're going to raise the curtain on this play. And your name in this play, do you remember your name? Roxanne. That's right, you're Roxanne. Okay, so here we go. Brandy, I need to talk to you about your daughter. Roxanne, there's nothing to talk about. Is that all you have to say? There's nothing to talk about? Roxanne, there's something wrong with you. I have tried to be a friend to you over the years. I've tried to be there for you. But you are now hurting me. And I'm not going to stand for it. All right? I think there's something wrong with you. You need some kind of help. You're off kilter. Brandy? You know, it's like I can't challenge you anymore on anything. It's like I'm walking on eggshells. It's like I have to watch out so I don't hurt your feelings, okay? Because you're coming out of left field with this stuff. You're skirting the issue, all right? It's like you're deflecting. You're coming out of left field. You have this firewall protection speech that's so bulletproof that nobody can talk to you. You feel me? Roxanne, I don't know what you're talking about. This is not my fault. I am not to blame here. You are the one who has the issue, all right? I've done nothing wrong. I'm fine, all right? Brandy, you're doing it again. You're doing the same thing again. You're coming out of left field. You don't want to talk about your daughter, all right? It's like if I come up with point A, you counter with point B, I come back with C, and you have D already ready. It's already prepared in your mind. Actually, you know what? You never even get to D because you start at Z. You start with when it's over. You don't want to talk about your daughter, and you just cut it off. It's at Z. That's the way I'm feeling. Okay, Roxanne, I'm done. I'm not going to go in a circle anymore. I'm not going to have this recycled argument that we've done over and over again, which goes nowhere. And I'm just going to walk away at this point. Fine, Brandy, walk away. Walk away and go to my colleagues, my friends, and even my family members. I was talking to my brother the other day, and he was looking at me all cockeyed, and I knew he had been talking to you. By the way that you were talking, I think that you painted me as a victimizer and you as a victim, okay? You even have myself worried about it. You're talking to my friends, you're talking to my colleagues, and they all seem to be turning on me. I can feel it. I don't know what you said to them. Whatever it was brilliant because you have a way of making people believe what you want to make them believe. I myself have fallen for it. I don't even know who I am. I'm challenging myself. I've never done that before. It's like I've never worried about who I was until you got to me. You are so good you're even doing it to me, and you know how to push my buttons. You know where I'm vulnerable. And I think that you're just trying to make me feel bad about myself. Am I right? Okay, so that is the end of the play, ladies and gentlemen. And, no rotten tomatoes being thrown. That's a good sign. Okay. So, in that play, you saw a bunch of things. You saw manipulation. You saw word salad. You saw gaslighting. You saw projection. All things that you actually can see in the documentary film that I made. I don't know how many of you grabbed the cards. And I'm not going to get into the documentary film today. I'm going to touch on it at the end. But all those things are covered in the film. But instead, let's talk about Roxanne's question. Is Brandy trying to destroy her? The answer to that question is yes. Why? Why is Brandy trying to destroy Roxanne? I'll tell you why. Covert narcissists have an issue. They have low self-esteem. They suffer from low self-esteem. You wouldn't know that when you looked at a covert narcissist. When you look at a covert, the world sees a covert narcissist and they see a very, very well-rounded person. Somebody who is absolutely charming. They have this refreshing aura about them that's so inviting, but that is a really big facade. Behind that facade is a person who really doesn't even like themselves. All right? Roxanne saw that in Brandy, and she tried to go past her facade, okay? Roxanne challenged Brandy. And you never, ever challenge a covert narcissist. If you challenge a covert narcissist, that is your death nail, all right? And that's exactly what Roxanne did. Roxanne's got Brandy's number. She's done peeped at her hold card. And now Brandy cannot live with that. She cannot live with somebody knowing what she is behind that facade. So she's got to attack Roxanne and get her out of her life. Okay? It's almost like a reflex to her. She doesn't even think about it. She just does it. Okay? And let me tell you something. Brandy will stop at nothing to destroy Roxanne. She'll stop at nothing. If you think I'm exaggerating and I'm just hooting and hollering here because I got an audience in front of me, no. It's serious stuff, okay? And if you've noticed, I haven't pulled out one of my third-rate jokes at this point of the speech. It's serious stuff. So what is next for Roxanne? It is called the smear campaign. And if it wasn't so diabolical, I would call it brilliant, okay? The smear campaign is what the covert narcissist launches against the victim, and they use her friends. Brandy's going to use Roxanne's friends. But she can't use Roxanne's real friends. because Roxanne's true friends know who Roxanne is, and they're not going to buy what Brandy is selling. But she can go to her colleagues and her surface friends, okay? And there are many different ways that they do this. One of the most popular ways to run a smear campaign is to play the sympathy card. And it looks something like this, okay? I'm going to get back into my Brandy character for just another moment, all right? I'm Brandy, and I'm talking to Roxanne's friends. Watch this. Guys, I love Roxanne. You know I love her. I've always been there for her. She's been there for me. I care about her, okay? But she's doing something to me, and I can't let it pass. I've tried to deal with Roxanne. I've tried to tolerate her. I've tried to talk it out with her, the issue, but she's off kilter. I can't deal with her anymore. I feel absolutely sorry for Roxanne. I really feel sorry for her. I can't even believe that I'm telling you. I can't even believe I have to drag you into this. But I'm hurting here. And you need to know how I feel, okay? That's why I told you about Roxanne, okay? Okay, guys, so that group of people that Roxanne is talking to, they have a name. They are called flying monkeys, okay? I know that sounds like a derogatory term. It is not a derogatory term. Flying monkeys are a group of people that the covert narcissist seeks out so they can do the dirty work against the victim so the covert narcissist can keep their hands clean, okay? Darn clever of Brandy. She is going to sit back there and watch Roxanne's own friends go after Roxanne, and she is just going to sit back there and watch, okay? Darn clever of Brandy to do so, okay? Now, these flying monkeys, you know, they don't know that they are a flying monkey, and you can't tell them that. They don't even know what the term means, okay? Poor Roxanne, she can't say anything either. Because Roxanne can't go to them and go, hey, Brandy said this, and she's trying to make you feel that, it's going to sound ridiculous, okay? If she does speak, it's actually going to strengthen Brandy's position, okay? Flying monkeys are actually victims themselves, not on the level that Roxanne's going to be victimized, but in a sense, they are actually victimized too a little bit, okay? So that's a flying monkey. As far as Brandy goes, how did she become a covert narcissist? How does a covert narcissist become a covert narcissist? The answer is, I don't know. I have done so much research on covert narcissism, most research I've ever done on anything. I did a mountain of reading on it. I have spoken to over a dozen therapists. I have, I've talked to about 30 or 40 fellow victims of mine, okay? And collectively what we've discovered is the answer is that something happened in their childhood. Okay, and I don't know what it was, and it's probably a different thing for each covert narcissist, but it must have been something tragic. And over time, it was kind of dormant or like under the radar. But as they became an adult, when they hit 25 or 30 or 35, they became a covert narcissist. But it manifested itself back when they were a child, okay? So a covert narcissist has many characteristics. One of them is that they lack empathy, okay, which is the saddest thing because that is a cornerstone of humanity, having empathy and feeling. I mean, we're put on this earth to love each other and to nurture each other and grow together and be friends and challenge each other and have feelings, to have empathy. Covert narcissist doesn't have empathy. They had it at one time, but it's been diminished down to either nothing or it's been diminished down to something that's just such on a low level it hardly even registers. But the covert narcissist can mimic that they have empathy. They can pretend that they have empathy. They do that by studying you, by studying me, by watching TV, by watching movies, by looking at the environment, and they see it, and they mimic it. They pretend that they have it. They go, look, world, I am a caring person. All right? I have feelings. Lots of times covert narcissists pick professions where people look up to them, like a policeman or a politician or a fireman or a man, something on a big high management level, because they need that gratitude to satisfy their low self-esteem. They need that. And they project that they have empathy that they don't have. Okay? So, they also don't say that they're sorry. Okay? They don't have it in them. As far as the covert narcissist is concerned, they are never wrong about anything. Okay? So there's no reason to say that they're sorry. Okay, what is there to apologize for? If they do say that they're sorry, it's very, very plastic. And even if they do find something that they did wrong, they're not going to say that they're sorry. Because, oh my gosh, someone would know I'm not perfect. They'll see behind my facade. I can't have that. Okay? So the covert narcissist is on the spectrum. And it is a very, very wide spectrum. And before I go into the spectrum, I have to tell you from my point of view. Okay, remember I told you I'm a filmmaker, not a therapist? All right? So everything that I talked to you today about covert narcissism may not fit your covert narcissist. And the Brandy, Roxanne story, that may not fit either. You probably saw components in there that you saw familiar. But what I'm trying to say is every covert narcissist for all of you may be a different thing. Okay? If they end up on that middle range or on the acute end, there is no therapy available. Because they'd never agree to themselves that they're a covert narcissist. All right? They don't see myself as one. Remember how I said you can't tell a flying monkey they're a flying monkey? You can't tell a covert narcissist they're a covert narcissist, doesn't register. Okay? They're like, covert narcissist, that's not me. Therapy, what do I need to there's nothing to fix. All right? If they end up on that mild end, and I didn't find very much mild examples in my research, there might be a little bit of therapy there to tweak if they want to get better. If they can recognize that they're narcissistic, they can take a little bit of this therapy. For the most part, on that medium end and the acute end, nothing they can do. As a matter of fact, it actually gets worse as they get older. Okay? So all of this psychology talk and stuff and all this stuff about covert narcissists, this condition, it has a name. All right? It's called NPD. That stands for Narcissistic Personality Disorder. NPD, Narcissistic Personality Disorder. I hope you're all taking notes because there's going to be a quiz at the end of the speech and you can't leave the building unless you pass the quiz. Buzzing! That's another one of my jokes. Okay, can I see by a show of hands who knows that they have a covert narcissist in their life? Okay, oh goodness gracious. Oh my, I was afraid of that. Okay. Well, I have something to say to you people who had their hands up. If you had your hands up and you are over your covert narcissist, they are no longer affecting your brain. You are done with them. They're in the rearview mirrors. I want to applaud you. I also want to hug you because I know what you've been through. I've been there. If you had your hand up and you are still suffering from a covert narcissist, today, I have something to say to you too. All right? And before I tell you what that is, you need to know that on that website where you can watch the film, there are ways to get therapy because there is therapy out there. There's help there out there. There's hope, and this is not going to be a permanent condition with you. Okay? You may think that it's going to last forever. It's not. Okay? As for my perspective, my 2 cents, and the real reason why I brought you here today is I have something to say too, and that is this. No one puts a good man or a good woman down. That's why the covert narcissist doesn't go after people who don't have character, because they're not a threat. If you're kind of like a timid person or a run and hide type person, the covert narcissist has no problem with you because you're not a threat. They can control you, and the covert narcissist loves control. But if a covert narcissist went after anybody in this audience, it only means one thing. It means you've got character. Stand-up people, people with a voice. Those are the people that the covert narcissists are intimidated by, all right? They're actually a little afraid of you. They're a little jealous of you. Stand-up people, okay? People with a voice. Dr. Sandra Rhode, my gosh, if you have a covert narcissist in your life and you challenge them, you're in trouble, girl, because I know your character. It's very strong. But don't worry, Dr. Rhodes, you're going to be fine. And all of you Roxannes out there who have a covert narcissist in your life, you're going to be fine too, because you have to know one thing. You have to know who you are. Know who you are. You are put on this earth to make a difference. You need to focus on that. You have to find the strength there. And it may be strength that you didn't think that you have, but now's the time for it to come out, baby. All right? That strength that you has to be a little bit stronger than that voice in your head telling you that you're not from the covert narcissist. Know who you are. We know who the covert narcissists are. They are a liar, they are a manipulator, and they are not going to dictate to you what you're going to be like for the rest of your life. No, they're not. I want my voice ringing in your head every time that covert narcissist enters your brain. If they are the last thing that you think of when you go to sleep at night, if they are the first thing that you think of when you wake up in the morning, hear my voice ringing, saying, know who you are. Know who you are. You may have done all of the things in your life to succeed and to be a friend to somebody. You may have nurtured your family. You've been there for them. You've also done it for a friend. You've stood up for the friend, even after they attacked you or did something wrong. If it was a covert narcissist you did that to, they are going to reward you by attacking you and trying to destroy you. You didn't deserve that. I have made thousands and thousands and thousands of mistakes in my life. The biggest mistake I ever made in my life was standing up for my covert narcissist. I was there for this person. And I thought this person was going to see me for who I was. I actually didn't know they were a covert narcissist at the time, but I stood up for this person. And they gaslit me, and they manipulated me, and they did everything. And I stood there and I said, you know what? This person's finally going to see. It's going to hit her. It's going to come on like a light switch. And this person is going to see, gosh, you know, James Bonato really is a true friend. I didn't know that before. Never happened. Never came to fruition. And it's not going to happen for your covert narcissist either. They're not going to understand. Okay? You can try all you want. I tell you what I ended up doing. I ended up surrounding myself with true friends, with real friends, with family members. And I kicked the covert narcissist out of my life, okay? But I drilled down on who I was, and I surrounded myself with friends. Dr. Sandra Rhodes. I love Dr. Rhodes. Dr. Rhodes loves me. I would do anything for her, and she would do anything for me. Jeffrey Muse, the man behind that camera filming me right now. I love Jeffrey. Jeffrey loves me. I would do anything for Jeffrey. Jeffrey would do anything for me. I see family members in this audience. I love them. They love me. I see friends, real friends in this audience. I would do anything for them. They would do anything for me. That's who I surround myself with. All right? And I finally, I realized that this wasn't going to happen with the covert narcissist. I pondered who I was. I drilled down deep to the core on who I was and found my genuine self, my pure self. Joe Smith, can you please stand up for a moment? Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe Smith, all right? Joe Smith taught me what it's like to follow your pure self, and I did exactly what he told me to do. I was true to my pure self, and he told me it was going to lead eventually to the right place. Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Okay. Can the covert narcissist look at their pure self? Can they deep down and see? No, there's nothing really there, okay? The covert narcissist doesn't want you to find out who you are. The last thing the covert narcissist wants to do is find out that you feel proud of yourself, okay? They want you to be miserable. They want you to be as miserable as they are. What is that expression? Misery loves company? Yeah, that's what that's like, okay? So ladies and gentlemen, ponder. Ponder, ponder, ponder who you are, and bet on yourself, all right? Now, there's one thing I don't want you to ponder, and I can sum it up in just 2 words. Don't seek revenge. That's 3. Okay, don't seek revenge, people. I'm not going to get into it, but the covert narcissist will be waiting for you and you don't want to seek revenge. But what about the other side of the coin? What about forgiveness? What in the world? Forgive the covert narcissist, the person who tried to destroy my life, forgive them? Well, if you forgave them, or if you consider forgetting, what would it look like? Well, I can tell you what it looked like for me, because I did forgive my covert narcissist. I forgave my covert narcissist by looking at him at a different perspective, all right? I said, my gosh, this person has a disorder. They have a disorder. For a long time before that, I was trying to be there for my covert narcissist. I noted that this person needed support and they needed some positive stuff, which I gave them. All right? Now, maybe I was a stupid, gullible fool for doing that, because I'm always trying to see the goodness in people, okay? Maybe that was the wrong thing to do. And let me tell you something, when I was preparing for this speech, I said, you know, I have to be honest with these people. I have to really tell them who I am. That path that I was talking about, that I didn't sprint down, that I took a marathon race to get there, guess what? I'm still running the race. It's not over yet. I'm 62 years old and I still haven't figured out life, for crying out loud. Oh, man. Okay? So I'm still running that race, I have to be honest with you. And I'm not telling you that you have to forgive your narcissist. I actually did. That was part of my recovery, part of me becoming a survivor. It may not with you. I'm a filmmaker, not a therapist, but I had to put it out there, and it had to be part of my speech, which, by the way, I'm pretty much at the end of. Before I open up the floor for questions, I want to tell you just a little bit about my film. Where did I get the idea to make this film? Well, you know where I got the idea. I was the victim of covert narcissism. And I said, you know what? I want to take 3 victims, and I want to tell their story on how they went from victim to survivor. And I want to teach people what covert narcissism is, because a lot of people don't know what it is. A lot of you might have been looking at it like, you know, I know somebody. I have somebody in my life that's kind of like that. I want to expose it and teach people for what it is. Because, again, I don't want to have what happened to me happen to you. So I put it out there on Facebook and a couple of other platforms about I'm making this film, and I got this whoosh response. I couldn't believe it. People were calling out of the woodwork. Yes, I want to be in your film. Couldn't believe it. But they wanted to tell their stories, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was like 50 people. How am I going to get it down to 3? Well, I got it down to 6. And I said, well, I'm going to tape record you all. All right, is that okay? I'm going to tape record your story. They said, yes, of course, tape record my story. So I picked the best 3 that balanced each other. My story is not in the film, okay? But I picked 3 that balanced each other, and I couldn't put them in the film. I couldn't say their name in the film. I couldn't even have their voice in the film. At one point, I thought maybe they could narrate it, do a voiceover, but no. And you understand why they can't be in the film, right? Those 3 victims, their 3 covert narcissists could go after them. You made a film about me? They could also go after the producer, which would be me, all right? So I got my 3 people, and I hired professional actors to portray the roles of the covert narcissists and to portray the roles of the victims and all of the sub-characters, too, all right? And that's how the film came to be. 100%, well, 95% of what you hear in the documentary film, those are the actual words that the victims told me that I tape recorded. So it is a true documentary film. Also in the film are 3 professional therapists, and they are brilliant. And they specialize in covert narcissists. I went all up and down the East Coast. I drove up and down with my camera, and I filmed them. One was in New York, one was in North Carolina, one was in Annapolis, Maryland, and they pepper the film with their insights, okay? So I hope you all watch the film, and I also hope you recommend the film to anybody that you feel would benefit from it.